Hey, everyone. It is the Nat Bullen, and I am so excited to be here. I have a friend, peer, colleague, all the things who's been in business over 15 years. Her name is Dr. Tamara, and I'm going to let her tell you all about her business. And then I'm going to let you know why you should care and how we're going to help improve your marketing. Dr. Tamara, tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, I have been in the business of helping other people use their business to change people's lives. I've actually been in the field working with different organizations for like 25 years. It's been a minute. And my background is in psychology and like nonprofits. And I went into the for-profit realm after some time once I had my business around for a while. And I realized like, oh, this is where we really change the world.
First of all, I don't really understand how you could have done anything for 20 years when you look 30. That's always confusing. Like the accolade number is always confusing. Like ever since I've met you, I've just put you in the bucket with like, like Pharrell, just the vampires that never age. And so every time you're just like, yeah, I've been doing so 25 years, I'm like, you started working when you were 5. That was legal where you are. That's so sad. So I'll never get over that. We need to share like skincare tips at the end of this. I know everyone is here for marketing. Listen, y'all, the reason that I have Dr. Tamara here to talk about marketing for impact, the reason that I was elated to have her as a sponsor at Unapologetic Wealth Live. The reason that I refer her business when there's a lot of charlatans out on the internet is because she's really developed something I feel is incredibly unique. And I wish I had known earlier in my journey about these things, right? You always have those people where you're like, man, where were you 5 or 10 years ago? And that's how I feel about you. So I know that you have this impact index that is a proprietary tool that helps people assess how sustainable their business really is. And as a person who arguably has never really had a sustainable business on purpose, I am very intrigued by how you develop this tool and what it entails, like how it helps people. Can you tell us about the Impact Index?
Yeah, so the impact index really came out of, really the nonprofit world originally, where I first started working. There's all these, I guess, demands on the philanthropy world to show that when you say the program does something, that it really does that. And so it's sort of this assumption that you have evidence that you've changed people's lives in the way that you promised to change people's lives. But then when we look at the for-profit world, when we look at everyone else, people are all out there saying all sorts of things, right? Like, I'm a health coach. I'm
No
going
accountability.
to, yeah, it's like all these really vague, I'm going to make your life better statements. I am going to teach you things. And it's like, prove it. So that's really where the impact index came from. So it is a combination of your client results, so you're actually measuring, like real measuring with numbers and things, the tangible outcomes that your clients are getting. Like you say you're going to get some sort of result, we're going to actually measure that and say, this is how much people's lives change in what ways. Not a vague statement, but a statement with evidence. And then the other part is your and your team's well-being, because part of how you impact the world is how you impact yourself and the people that work in your organization. So what is your mental health? How is your physical and emotional well-being? How is your economic well-being? If people are miserable working on your team, including yourself, right? Like you're not having a
Girl,
good impact in the world.
we've been through some things. We have been through some things. I want to tell you that working in my company has never traumatized anybody, but I just don't know that that is an honest statement that I can make to you right now, friend. And like, that's so I wish someone had taught me that. It wasn't until I lost an A player who
Mhm.
was like, in order for me to stay your friend, I can't stay your subordinate.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that is awful. Like, I'm glad you set a boundary, but like you said, I wish I had had better awareness. And I think as founders, we're in it. We believe in it. We're willing to risk everything. Everyone has that cause that they care enough about to literally fling their life behind, whether it's ending homelessness or eradicating alcoholism. Like, we all have those like things. Our businesses usually fall in that bucket. And so
Mhm.
we stay up to 2 in the morning and we will, risk our friendships and we will skip the gym and put on 50 pounds. You cannot expect other people to do that. It's not healthy for you to do it, but you absolutely can't expect others. And I find that
Mhm.
having a type A driven type of personality tends to push not just you, but others. There's been times where I
Mhm.
push my clients too hard
Yeah.
because of my own standard of no, you're going to get this result, whatever we have to do. And I know they're like, what do you, whatever. I don't want to do whatever. I'm tired. I want that.
Mhm.
So, like, I think that's so powerful. And, I deal on the money end, right? And, I've got this new program and capital gains is going great. And some of these women aren't paying themselves anything. That's the hill I will die on because I'm like, I'm sorry. Entrepreneurship is too damn hard for you to have to volunteer. Like, if you can't get paid, this is a non-starter. Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. Especially for a mature business, 5 years,
Yeah.
7 years, 10 years. It's time. This should have been creating pay for you by that point. But
Yeah.
like what you're doing is self-care as well. I don't think
Mhm.
entrepreneurs even think they deserve well-being. I'll just come out and say
Mhm.
it. I think
Yeah.
that they think that this is a sacrifice that they need to make. Like, in order to have the business I want, I have to be willing to give up everything. If that's lose my marriage, if that's miss my kids
Mhm.
growing up, whatever it takes to have like this dream. And A,
Mhm.
that's incredibly sad. And B, it's not true.
Yeah. No,
And I think we
sustainability
learn a lot
is,
from the nonprofit specter.
I know, nonprofit folks, they think they need to sacrifice their whole life for their organization and their cause. But like people in other businesses do too. It's like you found something and you sacrifice everything, like your relationships, your well-being, you just burn yourself out just by grinding. And that is not sustainability,
No,
right? Like
it's really not.
we talk about money, like, I mean, we measure as part of the impact index the financial sustainability too, because money
Yeah.
is necessary. You need yourself to be able to survive and thrive, because if you are not doing well, your team cannot do well. And if you and your team cannot do well, your clients are not going to do well. And if your clients are not doing well, you're not going to financially do well, right? Like you need your clients to stay with you, complete and receive that result that you promised. You need your team to stay working with you and stay healthy and productive. You need you as an individual to be healthy and productive, and everyone to be getting that sort of joyness, right? Like out of the business in order to really have that, I guess, long-term sustainability as a business, right? You can't grow if you're broken, and you can't stay in business for a long time continuing to change more and more people's lives if you're broken.
And if you can't keep team because your team keeps leaving, so you have to
Yes.
keep training brand new people. You have to keep breaking people in, and everyone has a different system and a different SOP. And if you don't have the money to be able to pay the talent you need, so you kind of have to
Mhm.
just accept any talent you can get. Like, I can see where all these things
Yeah.
compound. Now, the elephant in the room. Why do you think so many people are not taught about sustainability? Like, why did these completely ridiculous, unsustainable, nobody can pull them off anyway type marketing tactics get so popular?
So I'm going
No,
to keep it
I know
100
it's
here.
deep, but I have to. You're
Yeah.
smart enough to answer this question. I
Yeah.
have to know. I've been asking people, everyone I talk to, how did this? Because I'm doing business. I've been in business four and a
Mhm.
half years, so I don't know how did this ecosystem of post hope, prey on people, how did that get more popular than the standard long-term sustainable good common sense method that you are laying out here?
Okay. So, I mean, I'm a straight shooter. Okay. So, keeping it 100, we're talking, I mean, capitalism. And
That's probably the whole answer there. And scene.
ultimately, the people who have pushed us to just grind, right? Like that hustle culture is one in which, like, really the traditional business things that like are everywhere came from people who aren't us, don't look like us, and don't have our lives, right? Like
Right.
those systems, it works for them because those dudes can push because everyone gets out of their way. Those systems weren't designed for us, right? They were designed to keep us out of it anyway. And so it's really about redesigning our businesses, redesigning the services that we deliver, redesigning how we operate and how we even approach our business to be more about who we are, right? More aligned
Yeah.
with our values and ways of being, because they won't tell you that really they didn't grind. They took the easy route. And so how can we find our easy route, right? Like we can increase our profit without growing our revenue. Like that's a possible thing. Like you can have a more profitable business with bringing in more money because you make it less costly to deliver your services.
That's just like groundbreaking because nobody talks about that. And like the coachification of the online space is so damaging because now even like accountants and bookkeepers don't want to do financial stuff. They want to be a coach, right? And I tell
Mhm.
people you might not need more revenue. Like if your revenue is in the millions, you absolutely do not need more revenue to pay yourself six figures and have a good life. So
Mhm.
where's the money going? And is it going toward things that are benefiting the end user? I think that's what I really love about your approach is that it centers your client's client or your
Mhm.
client's audience or the world at large in terms of like how is this benefiting. And I think we've become a little too selfish in terms of what's best for me as the business owner, and that's
Mhm.
great if what you want and what your audience needs are aligned, but more and
Yes.
more frequently I'm finding that that is not the case. I mean, the number of service providers I see that brag about spending very little time with their clients. Like they brag about getting people to pay $5,000 and $10,000 a month for support, but yet only meeting with these people once a month after they jump through hoops and fill out forms and talk to assistants. And
Mhm.
really, it's hard for them to reach you, and they're paying $10,000 a month. Why should they, like? How is that congruent? And there's probably some coach cheering them on, going, "Yeah, good for you. You're making 120K off that sucker." But I think
Mhm.
about the economic impact, the fallout
Yeah.
from this person not having the support they need, trickling down to the clients not being served. You know.
I'm of service, I'm a giver, and I see so many business owners that are the same, right? Of we continue to just pour into our clients, right? And often we pour too much into them, right? Like
But
we pour
yeah.
more than we promised and more than we got paid for. And so I think the pendulum has kind of swung, right? Of now to the other side of, oh, well,
Mm,
I want to work less. I'm going to work less. But
yeah.
it's, I
I've
think
given my all for too long. Now it's time to tip the scale.
like this is where I really look at that overlap and look at the design of the service and say, it's not about how much or how little time. It's about, are we doing the right things to actually deliver on that promised transformation? So, what are the things that are my joy, ease, strengths that I know that me and my team, we can fulfill it incredibly? Like my special sauce, right? Super easy for me, and then overlapping with what the clients, how do we actually get the result that they are seeking? And so what are the behaviors, what are the activities or the things that are in our service that are in that overlap of the things that we do that are super easy and powerful that get the result? And then we can cut out all the other things. That's how you work less, is you stop doing the things that don't actually contribute to the transformation. But you don't just erase willy-nilly and you don't just add willy-nilly, right? Like you design intentionally
I've
that
done
service.
both. It might have felt well designed at the time, but I've done both. And I also think too, like right sizing your offers can make a lot of sense. I used to try to solve a lot of different problems in one offer. And now I'm like, you know what? If people have this one specific problem, I'm going to solve this one specific problem really well. Like our sales challenge only solved one problem. You did not
Mhm.
have a cadence or rhythm for sales, and you need some accountability to get back in the saddle. That's it. If you
Yes.
needed scripts and videos and trainings, that's a whole different problem, and we can solve that later.
Mhm.
And being able to have something, like you said, that felt easy to deliver, that we
Yes.
didn't feel like we were behind or that people were unhappy about. We've never gotten a refund request for the challenge. We've never had
Mhm.
a chargeback on the challenge. We've never had a complaint about the challenge. That
Yeah.
makes you wake up every day and go, this is worth doing, even if it's not quote unquote expensive. And I think that's what people started
Mhm.
chasing was how do I charge a lot of money? And then how do I pack my offer full of stuff to justify charging a lot of money instead of, like you said, meeting your clients where they are. I have a friend who sells one offer, it's $2,500 and she makes over $1 million a year selling it, and I don't know. She don't seem stressed to me. So I'm like, the sustainable thing is working. So let me ask you this. What would you say to someone watching this who is thinking to themselves, what I get feedback from entrepreneurs, that they are bad at marketing or that they don't feel good about their marketing or that marketing is hard? What are we doing that maybe can ease some of that fear or resistance from people who maybe have unfortunately fallen in line with the marketing bros in the past?
I think the clarity of what you do and how it changes people's lives, that clarity is the make or break when it comes to your marketing message. And once you have that super clear, then it's every conversation is a little easier. Things are going to kind of convert better, right? Like you're going to attract the right people because knowing exactly who you benefit and how you benefit it, and you can really clearly show that. The evidence comes later, right? Like once we get the evidence, that makes it even better. But the initial just clarity of this is what my service does. This is at the end, what I will see, what everyone could look at and see, you achieved that result. Like that
I would be
tangibility.
like that you can't not be confident if you knew that. It would be impossible. I think we've been told, kind of like how girls are told when they're young that they're bad at numbers, bad at math, bad at science. Like I feel like that's the patriarchy coming down. Now there's
Mhm.
one part of your process that made my little ears perk up that I was like, "Ooh, I love this part. I love this part." And it's down in the like long-term financial sustainability because
Mhm.
I believe that your business should make you rich. And that's
Mhm.
not going to happen if it can't pay you, can't pay team, can't help you fund your retirement,
Mhm.
etc. I know that one of the things you look at is, do people have leads in the pipeline? Do people
Mhm.
have burn rate? The right burn rate. And I find that
Mhm.
folks don't even know what these things mean. So, like, from a working with you standpoint, or maybe even hiring any marketing consultant, what do people need to come to the table already knowing? And what maybe is it okay for them to bring raw data and let someone like you figure out for them?
Well, I mean, first, most marketing people don't actually understand impact. They communicate. And so, first question, right, is are you actually selling something that people should buy? And marketers don't ask that
Really,
question.
we have to start there. That
Yeah.
that question is not already being asked, and that answer is not apparent.
And so, I mean, I start us there because I don't want people giving you money if you're wasting it, right? And you're not intentionally wasting it, right? Like, no, I don't believe anyone, at least anyone that I speak to, right, like designed this to like take people's money and keep it and
Right.
not actually do anything,
Yeah,
right?
I
But
would hope. I believe that too. That the people I know would never intentionally create a worthless offer and
yeah,
sell it to people.
but we accidentally do it. Starting with that, how do I know that what I'm doing is actually delivering on what I'm promising it does? How am I intentionally designing my service to actually get people to that transformation? How am I going to know, like that observable thing of at the end of this service, we can all see that yes, they did or did not achieve that result? Am I going to actually start measuring that? It starts with actually the design of your service, of your offer, so that it starts out with a plan for this is how I actually get 100% of my clients to not only complete the service but achieve the result. And then you get as close to the 100% as you can in real life, but you have to plan for that. And so that's like before you even start talking to anybody about what you do, it's getting that clear on how you actually deliver on the promise that you then are going to go out and start the marketing activities for.
Which is the opposite of what a lot of people have been taught. They've been taught to like kind of go get feelers out for what people want and then kind of build it while you run it and then maybe hope. I mean, I've seen numbers as low as 50% as targets for
Mhm.
client outcomes. Like that was the best case scenario. And I'm
Mhm.
like, why would you set a target of 50%? That is insanely low to me
Mhm.
as a target. I mean, that would be scary as an outcome, but that's terrifying that that was like your initial goal.
Yeah.
Like, why would you start it so low? Like, why would you sell something that you knew up front had a best case scenario of only getting half of the people the
Mhm.
result that they paid for? So half of the people lost their money. Like, we should never. And I think if people like got in more sustainable things, so if people are watching this and realizing, yeah, they're right. I am not so sure that I have a sustainable engine, but I want one. I want to have client results that are in alignment with our big vision, which is to change everyone's life who pays us, right? To make sure that my team and myself have well-being, but that we have this long-term sustainability. How can people work with you? What does that next step look like, or where can they find out more information about your work?
First, just general website is tamarahamai.com, but more specifically, the way that people start working with us is through what we call the Impact Incubator. So either in a small group or one-on-one, depending on how much capacity they have to pour into things and how much they can afford. We start by actually going through and you do the impact index and calculate your score so that you can see your strengths and weaknesses in those areas of client results and your team well-being and your financial sustainability and growth. And we use that as an input to actually redesign your offers so that you have that intentional map of what are the things the client does with me to get what result, what do I see tangibly that show that they got that result, and what does it take to deliver this, so that we have sort of an offer template, right, that we fill in that has this is the promise, this is the transformation they receive, these are the components of how we get there, this is how much it takes to deliver that, so that we need this many clients at this price point to be profitable. It's like a simple breakdown, but it's a whole bunch of decisions, right? And so, I help walk you through all those decisions where we map all of those little pieces out. So when it's in a group, you do the impact index score calculation, and then you come to a full day in person where we do it all together. When it's one-on-one, I go through the impact index with you and produce some of the deliverables on my own and bring it to you. And we have a half day where we just fill in the gaps and finalize everything, where I'm doing most of the customization for you, but with your input.
That sounds like something a lot of folks need. So I'm going to drop link down below so you'll be able to follow her, go on her website. I always like to end these kind of interviews with a final note. Like if there's one thing that people need to understand about themselves or their business or their industry or you, like what is your final word on the subject?
I mean, I think the bottom line is that you do not need to choose between profit and purpose and joy. Have all those things.
Damn, that was great. That was better than mine. Okay. Okay. See, mine was still going to be you deserve to have a business that makes you rich. See, y'all. Yours is deep. Yours is layered. I think no, that's huge. I've always chosen. I've always chosen, and I think corporate teaches us we have to choose. College, you're either gonna sleep or you're gonna study. You're right. You're gonna pass. You're gonna cram or you're gonna fail. Like we've all. I feel like most of my adult life has been the lesser of two evils training. So I'm excited about having something that is not so rigid. We can build the kind of businesses that we want. Listen, if you all are watching this, I do not endorse people lightly. Okay. I don't trust a lot of folks. I actually trust Dr. Tamara because she's doing work for decades that is pouring in. And one thing that I will say, having connections and hiring professionals who have real offline experience is the cheat code. People who have only run business online in one particular area on one particular platform, you run an incredible risk that that's the only way that they know how to run business. When you find people who've been in education or who've been in public relations, people who've been in psychology, people who have degrees from in-person universities where they actually had to learn and grow and meet people and intern, when people have had jobs with Fortune 500 companies that had real budgets and they know how to deal with people, right? It's not the flex that you think hiring these unemployable online marketers. There's usually something up with folks who couldn't do something else and they can only sell you option A, way, door number A. And if you can't do it their way, then now something is wrong with you. And so it has been my mission to introduce you to people who I felt were doing the real work And it's crazy that something as foundational as, is your offer valuable? Does it actually solve a real problem? And does it make you happy? Is groundbreaking. But in the year of our Lord 2025, that is just where we are. And so I just want you to like follow, share, like, read the content. I only partner with people who are smarter than I am. So please know Dr. Tamara fits that description. I'm so honored for your time today. Thank you so much for pouring into my community and making marketing feel less scary.